Welcome to my top 8 best builds in Armored Core 6. On one hand, there's not any true best build in Armored Core, as they all have different purposes. On the other hand, some weapon combinations are straight up overpowered, baby. Some builds will clap the cheeks off anything in your path, whether it be a big boss fight or PvP duels. My top 8 builds here got you covered. So let's jump right into the video. First up, Alien Invasion. This is the tetrapod, rain down missiles and lasers from the skies build. I'm sure you've seen something like this before, but I just had to include my version on this list. We got a fat stack of missiles on my shoulders, and the handheld siege missiles on my left arm. Firing off all these at the same time is a nightmare for the enemy. You can use 2 soups, double soup, or 2 stacks of 10 regular missiles, though I don't like to only have missiles. I'd like at least 1 rifle, so I'm using the Nebula rifle because this is best when shooting down to the ground. Even if your laser misses, that AoE blast will explode on the ground and most likely damage the target, especially if you charge it up and get that huge blast. With only missiles, sometimes you'll get the stagger and not be able to capitalize on it, and that is extremely frustrating. So it's nice having a rifle or some type of non-missile weapon to make sure you can punish the stagger. Listen, for my builds, I'm not going into the nitty-gritty details with exactly how every single piece should be set up. If I did that, this video would be 40 minutes long. I'm simply here to give you the basic idea for the build and why it works, so you can take that idea and run with it. Change it up to your preference. That being said, these are the armor pieces I am currently using on this build. Got the heavier quad legs with a medium to long range fire control system. The number 7 build here is probably my favorite, Dueling Swordsman. As the name indicates, this is best for dueling other mechs. We got the good old stun needle launcher on right shoulder, the moonlight sword in left arm. This is a deadly combination. If you feel like being disrespectful and getting in their face, then use a shotgun or a handgun in your right arm. If you can stay within 100 meters and time your shots correctly, this handgun is lethal. Then got a fat load of 10 missiles on my other shoulder. This keeps pressure on the enemy. You don't want your enemy feeling safe and cozy over there. You want that turkey on the run. So a sack of missiles raining down definitely helps keep the pressure. With this, you want to use a fire control system like the Abbott. So that's the close range version. But because the Moonlight Sword has a longer range than other melee weapons, this build can swap between close and medium range. So for fighting at medium distance, use the linear rifle Harris instead of a handgun. Good for slowly but consistently building stagger and dealing damage. For the medium distance version here, we'll use a more balanced FCS, such as the P05. The Spring Chicken, in my opinion, is the best leg piece. Insanely high weight load, superior jumping power, and a great name. You just can't go wrong, man. I call this bad boy Fire Force. I fought someone using a tank flamethrower in PvP and it pissed me right the fuck off. So now I'm going to do it to other people. Flamethrower in my left hand, and the right hand can be a linear rifle, handgun, shotgun, Gatling gun. The choice is yours. I'm always switching it up depending on the type of enemy I'm fighting. What's beautiful about this build is that if your enemy gets close to you, it's game over. They'd be wise to keep their distance or that fire will burn their cheeks off. Most of the time, you're chasing the enemy down like a turkey, but we want to force the enemy to come to us, to fight close up. So we need to pressure and continue attacking even from a distance. That's why I make sure to use some decent tracking missiles. You can double up on tracking missiles, but having a bazooka on your other shoulder can be very handy for punishing stagger and one-off shots that will win you the game. Hitting these shots with your songbird or earshot cannon is pivotal. You need that burst of damage and stagger. If you can land those and keep close enough to burn them with the flames, then the game is yours. Load up on heavy armor, because while chasing down turkeys on the hunt, you are wide open for the turkeys to shoot back at you. You're gonna eat up some damage, but with over 18,000 AP, we are good to go. Moving on, number 5, All for One. Every time I see the laser lance, all I can think about is All for One from My Hero with his giant masturbation arm. He'd be looking like Quagmire after first learning about porn.
Go check the mail over there.
The more I play with this build, the more I enjoy it. Using the weapons bay, here we have the nasty combo of laser lance, then quickly switching into the javelin bazooka. And there's plenty of other combinations you can do here, such as the laser lance into another melee weapon like the pile bunker. That's some crazy damage, but your timing has to be perfect to pull this off. I prefer my version as it is more reliable. Anywhere from medium to close range, if you're smooth with it, you can land shots with the javelin bazooka. And it is devastating. It's especially good for punishing stagger with its high direct hit adjustment. So it's a great combo for the laser lance. The right arm isn't set in stone, you can use whatever you want, but I like the Gatling gun. On the right shoulder, yeah, you can use songbirds, but I have found that the direct missiles are quite helpful. Having that pack of missiles keeps consistent pressure on the enemy. The laser lance is a risky attack. If you don't pull it off, you are going to be punished and eat damage. So that's why I recommend using a heavier mech type. At first, I thought the tetrapod was the way to go. But the more I used the Special Olympics tank, the more I realized this gotta be the one. This specific tank is very fast, and being quick pairs together quite nicely with the laser lance technique that we got going on here. Gatling gun, javelin bazooka, and laser lance, plus some missiles, heavy armor pieces, and a medium-ranged FCS. And there you have it. Before we get to the big top 3, we have an honorable mention, a fun cosplay build, Frieza, from that Japanese cartoon with the blonde guys. The armor is mostly all ephemera gear besides the core. We have, as you might assume, all laser weapons. We have a standard laser rifle in my main hand, then we can use a second laser rifle. I like the one that's a bit heavier, the 66 LRA. Or this bad boy, the Nebula rifle. Charge it up for that strong AoE blast. Combined with the storm of plasma missiles, we got quite the show of fireworks here. You can really use any combination of plasma or laser rifles that you prefer. I would really love to use the giant plasma cannon, but alas, it is too heavy. So instead I got dual plasma missiles here that I can fire off together. I got the VE-21B fire control system because you want to keep your distance with this build. Medium to long range is basically a plasma rifle sniper build. Stay at a distance, bunny hopping and dodging, and keep spamming all your lasers. This build would be a lot more effective using a reverse joint mech instead, but oh well. This one specifically looks more like Frieza. Moving into the top 3 builds. Little Stinger. This build is quite similar to the Laser Lance wheelchair build I showed before. I'm just really starting to freaking love the wheelchair, man. It's awesome. I'm using the Javelin Bazooka combined with the Zimmerman shotgun and then double stun needles. Yes sir, I know it may sound super meta and super obvious, but hey man, this build's got style and it puts in work. 13 seconds on the S tier arena? Jesus Christmas, dude. And of course it's deadly in PvP as well. Look how fast this round ended. 16 seconds, bro? Damn. I feel really bad for that guy, for real. I used the wheelchair tank because this is the fastest of all heavy mechs. And that's what I want here. A little stinger gotta be fast. Zooming in up close so you can easily land your shots with the javelin and shotgun. Technically, the stun needles have a very long distance ideal range, but they work wonders up close as well. You can make this build work without the stun needles. Instead, I like using a songbird and an earshot cannon, one of each, still very effective at close range. Before we get to first place, I'ma give you one here that can dominate any boss from the start of the game. This is your Get OP Early build. I call it the Boss Sniper. Very simple, the early game linear rifle, Curtis, and the first plasma rifle that you get. This is what I finally beat Balteus the Ballsack with. I even killed the Sea Spider very easily using these same early game weapons. It just goes to show how strong this combo is of firing both these rifles together. On your shoulders, you can use a laser cannon for that heavy charged up attack, but I like just using missiles. One vertical and one regular for some diversity. I prefer the reverse joint, but you can use bipedal here as well. then you can totally adapt and evolve this build later in the game. My later game version of this would be using the heavier linear rifle, Harris, and the Nebula plasma rifle, plus stronger missiles on the back. And boom, a simple and solid setup. Now in first place, the true shotgun build. See, typically people stack up with dual Shotties and double Songbirds, which is quite strong, but I have something a bit different, which has the potential to be even more deadly if you have the skill to pull it off. Let me show you what I mean. So instead of having 2 Shotties and 2 Songbirds, here we have 2 Shotties and 2 more Shotties, 2 even stronger shotguns. If we charge up these laser shotguns and land our shots, they will do even more damage than the Songbirds do. Look at this beautiful technique, man. Just look. Assault boost forwards while charging the lasers. Pump the shotguns into the boost kick, then blast away. Boom. Killing a tetrapod that quickly is kind of insane. And you don't even need to charge up the energy shotguns. You can fire them off just like regular shotguns pretty quickly. They've got a decent rapid fire. And that's why I like these. Because of their damage potential and ease of use, I believe these laser shotties are just as good, if not better, than the double Songbirds, using the good old spring chicken legs and the Abbott fire control system. If you have any questions or your opinion about any of these builds, please comment that down in the comment section. Thank you for watching, my fellow jabronis. I'll talk to you later.